back. My name is Heidi Harris, and I'm your dietitian with Indian Valley YMCA. And this week, I'm going to take you through one of my favorite dishes to make. It's just a veggie quiche, and we're going to have it with a bechamel sauce. And usually, most bechamel sauces use regular flour, but for dietary purposes, I'm going to be using brown rice flour. But you can make yours with regular. So your first step is to prep your ingredients. We use 1/2 onion minced, 1/2 red pepper minced. I like garlic, so I have 5 cloves of garlic minced, and then of course some chopped baby bell mushrooms. So your first step is to saute the onions. So once your pan is warm, your oil is all heated up, and just add it on in. So your first step is to saute the onions. So once your pan is warm, your oil is all heated up, and just add it on in. So once your onions are sauteing, your next step is to add in your mushrooms. Mushrooms have a very high water content, and it's particularly important to cook down that water content before adding it to your egg mixture, or else your egg will not, in the quiche, it will not get light and fluffy. It'll be really dense and really moist. As you can see here, the mushrooms are beginning to cook down, and you can see that there's a decent amount of steam coming off of the saute pan. And this is the perfect point in which you want to add your next ingredient, which is your red pepper, which is also pretty high in water content, and another reason why we add it in so that we can cook off some of that water content. So as you can see here, our peppers and our mushrooms have definitely shrunk down in size a little bit, which means that that moisture is still cooking off. Once you get down to this type of texture, it's a good time to add in your garlic. We don't want to add our garlic too soon, because garlic is meant to add a lot of flavor. And sometimes if you're cooking off water and you add the garlic too soon, you're cooking off some of that flavor too. So once your veggies have been appropriately sauteed, you just transfer it to low heat and set it off to the side. We'll get to them in a second. Next up, we need to make the bechamel sauce. So you always start bechamel with butter. And we use about 2 tablespoons of butter for this specific ingredient. Next up, the recipe calls for 6 eggs. So what you want to do is you just want to crack your eggs and continue. So once your eggs are all cracked, what you want to do is you want to add about 1/2 cup of milk to your egg mixture, and then whisk until your yolks, your eggs, and your milks are evenly mixed up. Alright, so you can kind of see here that the butter has been evenly melted, and in order to create your bechamel sauce, you want to add in about 2 tablespoons of your flour. And again, this can be whatever sort of flour it is that you choose. I personally, for dietary reasons, am using brown rice flour, but most bechamel sauces are made with a standard white flour. And once this happens, you want to evenly stir throughout until basically this mixture becomes nice and bubbly and it starts to get pretty thick. You'll also season this in just a little bit with some salt and some pepper. Once your bechamel sauce is completed, you just transfer it to your egg mixture and continue to whisk. We want to make sure that we continue to mix it all appropriately together so that it doesn't try to cook the egg a little bit, since it's going from one heated surface to something a little bit cooler. Next up, once your bechamel is added, what you then add is your veggie mixture that you had before. And once all of that is added in, you guessed it, you mix it together to get it evenly placed throughout. So I chose to not have a crust for this But instead what you want to do is you want to oil your pie plate or cooking spray or butter in order to make sure that the egg yolk doesn't stick to it. And once that's done, you take your egg mixture and you add it to your pie plate. And once your oven is set to 375 degrees, we want to make sure that we stick our quiche into the oven. And we bake for about 25 minutes or so. And after 25 minutes of baking, we have our final quiche product ready to go. If you end up making this quiche or make a quiche of your own, please leave a comment and like our video and let us know what you think. Thanks.